Here we go again.
It's thick and youthy, oh so juicy. And we're back again with me, the first time Lord, and
Hey, I'm Dwight Smith at ID Famous WDS.
I'm Danielle Amaro at Danielle_Amaro on Instagram and Twitter.
these amazing people are here with me to talk about a great thing, sports. If you aren't familiar with sports, then what the fuck have you been doing for the last however long you've been living? Sports has been our cornerstone in America that actually united all of us. From what I believe, sports has brought us closer together more than anything. Blacks, whites, Democrats, polycrats, Democrats, Republicans, everybody. And that's why we're talking about it today. If you don't know what Thick and Youthy is, it's a show that's absolutely juicy with the perspective of young people today, just talking about shit going on in the world. So Danielle and Dwight are here today to lay some knowledge or just talk about their experiences with sports. Me personally, I am gay, so sports is, but I am down with sports. I get why people like them. It took me a while, but now I understand why people like them. Like, people need something to let off steam when they're boring or, can't play sports or can't do anything fun. So they resort to baseball, basketball, football, hockey, right? And tennis, all those different sports. What I like to do when I'm around people who like sports is when they're actively going for one team, I go for the other team just to create drama, because how fun is that? So, like, let's say the Bucks are fighting against I don't know any other sports teams, so I'm gonna say the Colts, and they're battling on their football field or soccer field, and then they're just going at it. So if you're going for the Bucks, guess where I'm going for? The Colts. Have you guys done anything with sports, or how do you guys even feel about sports?
I have a question, first of all. Are those two teams in the same leagues?
No,
Same sport?
no,
No, the Bucks are
basketball.
Colts.
Yeah.
Colts or football?
But I'm gay, so I get a pass.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Two separate teams from two different sides go for the one that everyone else is not going for. That's me. How about you, Danielle or Dwight? Do you guys have any experience with sports at all in your life?
Yeah, I do. I grew up playing sports. So, I played soccer, basketball, and like a little bit of everything here or there, beach volleyball, if the mood was right. But I grew up pretty sporty and I grew up really active. So now as an adult, I like to keep active. And when I don't have that, I'm like just all sorts of messed up. As far as watching sports, I mean, my family was never like sports. We never had like a team, but, we would go to Yankee games or we would, see a football game here or there. I mean, I had a lot of other friends who enjoyed sports. So, we definitely went to games, but we were never like one team, like diehard fans, which I know some people are. And honestly, that kind of freaks me out. I don't really know why, but the whole like going really hard for one team or like your state's teams kind of freaks me out a little bit. That's my opinion.
Hear that. How about you, Dwight? Do you have any experience or anything about sports that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Well, growing up, just to start, recreationally, I played like pretty much almost every sport, just like not every sport. Not anything you couldn't find in an urban city. Like what is the one that's called when they're on horses? Cricket, maybe.
Cricket.
I haven't played that, or racquetball, or
Badminton.
We
played badminton in gym.
Rugby. Haven't played rugby. But yeah, recreationally, I've played a lot of sports like soccer, football, basketball. For a team, I've played for my school soccer team, and A sport that we don't talk about anymore, my favorite sport that I love to play personally is dodgeball. I freaking love dodgeball so much.
Yeah, and actually, you're right. All the ones that you said earlier, the rugby, badminton, those are like, I feel like only in a certain area of schools.
Yeah.
Like not everyone is going to be experienced with that. But with both of you, with what you said, growing up, I never watched sports, but I like playing sports. But I was a fat kid, so it was
Same money.
like 300 in high school. You weren't catching me running for shit. But now, a good 200, you'll see me kick a ball, run, dodge, all that, dip, dodge, and duck. Um, but
And dive again.
yeah, then dodge. But dodgeball was an amazing sport. I love throwing balls at people. As a gay man, me and balls, we go hand in hand. But
I get you.
like that for everyone. With intensity in sports, it is very scary on how people can go 0 to 100 when their team is mentioned. Like you could talk shit about somebody's team just like off the cuff, out of nowhere, and then someone or a group of people will come at you and just like, no, this is why you like them because my favorite player is blah 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 number 38, and he is stats and stuff. And it's like, okay, I didn't know there was that much into sports. Danielle?
Yes. So, I said that I'm not really like into sports. I'm like, oh, my team. I will, however, do the exact opposite. I love to hate the Patriots.
Oh, wow.
I love to hate the Patriots. Love to hate them. I went to Boston University. Let me tell you something about those people who love the Patriots. They're awful. They're terrible, horrible human beings. Tom Brady kisses his kids on the mouth. They're horrible. They're deflating their balls. Horrible. Terrible. I hate them. Their fans are the worst people in the world. Get them out of here. And that's all I have to say.
All right, so Patriots suck. But
everybody knew that, though.
Sports are actually a good thing. Like I said, it brings a lot of people together. And even though everyone has different opinions on that topic, it's been coming more and more into light these days in 2020 COVID pandemic era. So in the beginning, we lost a great person. If you don't know who this is, you're stupid and you don't deserve to be on this earth. No, I'm joking. But Kobe Bryant lost his life because of a helicopter incident. And I want to say, rest in peace, man. I didn't understand how everyone felt about him when he died until, and I know this isn't a sports person, until Naya Rivera died. Because I never got a connection because I'm not a sports guy. But when he died, people were sad. People were like, "Oh my gosh, he was the pinnacle of amazingness in sports, and now he's gone." Like I'm gonna say the word. I saw niggas crying, like they were upset. It's understandable. But so rest in peace, Kobe. Do you guys even know about Kobe, or have you heard anything, or how did you feel when he died?
Yeah, I felt very sad, man. It's like this not what's the space? Obviously I don't take it too close to the chest because I didn't follow sports closely, and I never knew him personally, obviously. But obviously you know him from just being a public figure because he was so big in the basketball, in the sports universe. So of course you knew of him. It's impossible not to know the name Kobe Bryant. And just on a more personal level, he was the very first person, because he was so hyped back in the day when I was a kid. He's the reason why my team is Lakers, is because him and Shaq. I started watching sports back when him and Shaq were still on the Lakers, and they were the dominant force for the Lakers. And that what got me into basketball. I'm not really huge into basketball anymore, but when I was a kid, I was Lakers because of Kobe, specifically because of Kobe, and then Shaq was a great addition for me.
The Lakers are in LA, yeah?
Yep, LA Lakers.
Do you, Danielle, being a LA girl, do you have anything about the Lakers or anything?
Yeah. I mean, I was, one, I don't really watch a lot of basketball. I've been to basketball games.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Lakers, whenever they're like, the Lakers, like I never really gave a shit, honestly, you know, about any sports in that regard. But, you know, when the helicopter incident with Kobe happened, I was like, oh my God, that's so tragic. Like, what a horrible, horrible thing. And, you know, I did feel that deep sadness, but watching LA react to the news and his death was like otherworldly. It was like the entire city was in mourning. It was like everyone you talked to that day or like the days after were just like, I can't do this right now. And it was like a phenomenon. It was like the entire city, county, whatever, this entire area was mourning the loss of this legend. You know, and it's like, I know Kobe because it's like Kobe, you know, like that's my relation. And like sometimes I still do it, you know, if I'm like shooting something into like the trash, I'm like, ooh, Kobe. And people are like, that's too soon. I'm like, it's been like 8 months. But no, it's yeah, like the whole city mourned for him. And it was for me strange because, you know, I don't put a lot of stock in, you know, obviously, you know, I follow like celebrity gossip, or, you know, there are people I look up to in the celebrity world, or, you know, sports or whatever. But, you know, I have friends that, you know, when a celebrity dies, they're like, oh my God, I'm just so shocked. I'm in shock right now. It's like, it's not even real. We've lost such an amazing talent. And I'm like, yes, it's awful that they're gone and, you know, they've passed, but you didn't know them.
Right.
You know, like I have friends who act like they know these people intimately, and I'm like, what do you think is going on here? Like, do you think that they owed you? I don't know. It's a little strange sometimes, but I mean, I guess I understand the Kobe thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
weird.
totally. It was weird at first, and I didn't understand. And then one of my people, one of the celebrities that I felt a connection with, did the same thing, and then it clicked in my head. This is how it feels when a celebrity of that kind of status, or like you know someone big that you really cared about, is gone. It's just like, whoa, you never even knew you
Yeah.
cared about it happened. But you know, lighter note, thank you, Kobe, for everything you do. And actually, it's never too soon. When I throw a ball of paper into the trash, I invoke the spirit of Kobe to guide it through. And
In his honor.
4 times it happens. I'm just saying, he's there with you. So never stop believing in the spirit of Kobe. So, like recently, have you guys? I feel like you guys heard about all the new things that have been happening in sports, and like not just the games being played, but the games that are not being played.
Mm.
Been hearing about the boycotts going on because of what happened to Jacob Blake.
Right. Yeah. Most definitely pretty much the whole bubble for the playoffs, which is crazy because it's not like a regular season game. These are the playoffs. This is the end game for the season. This is a big deal. More money is at stake here than during the regular season. It's more money. It's more, you know, it's the big leagues of the season. So for them to boycott the game and actually not go out is definitely making a huge sacrifice and a huge point and is sending a clear message.
Danielle, how do you feel about these teams boycotting? I know we're not sports people, but do you have any opinions on like how it is that what they should be doing, or if they're doing the right thing?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of this really hit or started happening. I've spent the last like 2 or 3 weeks like just like fucking off in the woods. I was in Montana with like no service, no news. I didn't know anything. So when I got back, I was like, what's happening? Um, I mean, good for them, you know, like people, you know, sports are, first of all, like not essential. I'm going to say it. I know everyone loves sports and everyone wants to see their favorite team play, but they're not essential. And the fact that these people are being forced to play so that other people have entertainment, like they're dancing monkeys, and now they're boycotting. I'm like, no, good for you. Good for you. Walk off the court. Don't show up. Get back on the bus. Good for you, because you know half of them are underpaid or like are not paid the same amount as like the rest of the players that like you know everyone loves. So it's like, and I know that there's a lot of especially racism in sports and certain sports, and it's like, you know, some people have the attitude of like, well, if this player, you know, acts a certain way, then they don't deserve to be on the team. And it's like, who the fuck are you to decide, you know? And it's like, when people are like, shut up and do your job. And it's like, you shut up and do your job. I just like, I've kind of had it with the whole, like, just play the game. Like, there's no room for politics in sports. And it's like, yeah, but you know,
Dribble.
yeah, I'm like, that's not true though. That's not true though, because you put it there. You put the politics in sports.
And speaking of racism in sports, that's what everything that's going on started with. The whole reason they're boycotting is because another innocent black man gunned down, go into his car to check on his kids or whatever happened. Another incident where a black man, police injustice, or no, police brutality and the injustice in our system. So I'm glad all the sports, a lot of sports teams, we got the WNBA, tennis, MLB, that's baseball. The NBA, fucking football. Everyone's doing something little or big to protest and boycott what happened with Jacob Blake. Now, there's a lot of racism in sports. Like you said, they they want you to just play ball and that's it. Make your millions, make your money, and then shut up, go home, don't do anything else. But now a lot of players are doing things to bring their voice to the sports. And like you said, sports are not essential. But if you tell someone else that, they have their opinion. But the fact that they are finally using their balls that they're dribbling as a podium to get the word out there. Like if you haven't heard, I think the Bucks were the first people to do it, but everyone from the NFL to tennis are just doing little statements. Like among the most vocal in football are the Tennessee Titans safety Kenny Vaccaro, who's vowed not to discuss football with media this season, and Green Bay Packers tackle Billy Turner, who's determined to find the best approach to produce the desired change in society. So we got people, I don't know, I know some people don't know those names, but we got Titans, Packers, Bucks. We got, I don't know any women NBA teams, and that's on me because I don't like men's sports, so why would I like women's sports? So, teams all over are doing stuff like Black Lives Matter on their shirts. They're talking about it. They're letting people know. Like one person that I was very actually, I was heartfelt with was a former, I want to say, and forgive me if I'm wrong, NFL or NBA player, who, I think his name was like Tony something. I'm trying to find it, but he basically was brought to tears because he felt bad that in his time, he wasn't able to use his platform to actually, say stuff about the issue. Yeah, it's NBA, and his name was, I know it, I see it. Oh, we'll figure it out. But he felt really bad that he wasn't able to do stuff in his time. And now seeing all these people, he's very proud that we're actually doing something about it, and we're the generation to do something about it. So we got people from all over, like I said. Do you guys feel that anything else can be done, or there needs to be more changes, or they can do more? What do you think about this whole situation?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, listen, I also don't know enough about sports and the way that world works and what goes on behind closed doors for me to be like, this is how. Also, it's not my job to police the way that people protest. I mean, my dad was like, well, walking off the court or, kneeling during the national anthem isn't the way you protest. If you want to wear like a certain color shoelaces, I was like, fuck off with your fucking shoelaces. What the fuck are shoelaces saying? Fuck you. But also, I do also want to bring up how like way back when like a lot of these protests started earlier this year, I think it was like Drew Brees said like, oh no, there's like nothing wrong, like whatever, people need to like just go back to normal. It's sad but people need to go move on. And there was another footballer on his team, and I can't for the life of me remember his name, but he made this video which was like an open letter to Drew Brees, and they were like from like the same team, and which I believe is the Saints. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It was like an open letter to Drew Brees, and he was like, Drew, we've been on this team for X amount of years, and I'm really disappointed in you. And he was just like really emotional, and I watched the whole video, and I was like, God damn. And I was like just so happy that he like called out this like very famous white football player on his team. He was like, man, you get paid more than me and like whatever. And it was just like airing his grievances about like the whole thing. And he was like, this is racism. This is horrible. And the fact that we've been on the same team and we've had these conversations is like, I'm offended and like, I'm disappointed in you. And it was, I thought, kind of changed the game a little bit. Cause I think after that, Drew Brees kind of like retracted some of his statements and was like, yeah, I was wrong.
I remember.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you think they can do this? Should they be able to do more, or are they doing enough, or how do you feel?
So in terms of the sports leagues, first things first, I mean, like in terms of the sports leagues specifically, cleaning up their backyard, they own stuff first would be a big help. Working on that while simultaneously, doing what they've already been doing is also very helpful. Letting their players have a platform to for them to be able to do something like this. I'm not sure if it's without penalty. I don't want to say that. I'm not 100% sure if anybody has not been penalized for this.
I hope.
For these boycotts. Yeah, exactly. I hope not, but I don't know. So I won't say they. If that is the case, then I would hope they are. Hope they're not penalizing them. If so, hopefully just. I'm pretty sure it's contract things, which is the only reason they will be penalizing them. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be like specifically like a racist thing, like, oh, you motherfuckers, like we don't believe in that. So they're penalizing. I'm pretty sure if they were to penalize them, it's because of some contract related reasons, which makes sense. But that's also a part of the whole what I was saying earlier about the players making a sacrifice for what they believe in and their point and their message. So when it comes to the sports leagues, one of the biggest things they can do is clean up their own backyard. Just like, you know what I mean? Clean up their own backyard with all the racism that they have themselves in the whole leagues in general.
Yes, that's exactly right. They should. Like, I don't know if it was recently, maybe 2 weeks ago. Danielle, I don't even know if you were here for it. But a few weeks ago, a black NBA president got harassed by a police officer going to, I don't know, whatever you go to, the champions box after they won a game. And he was just there. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about?
I've seen that video, yeah.
Yeah. So even high status black people are affected by this. No matter what profession you're in, no matter what sport you're in, no matter how many millions you're getting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
you're wearing a suit, and
at the end of the day, you're still a black guy, and everyone dies. And
just to be specific, really quick, just to give a quick little thing of what happened in the video. He was a newly appointed black president, so he was fairly new. He was headed to the I believe he was fairly new anyway. But either way, he was heading to the to basically, I believe, to the rest of the team after the game was over. You know, they won, everybody was celebrating. He was heading down to the field. When he got down there, one of the security guards obviously didn't recognize him. And even though he had some attire that looked the part, he still, tried to stop him. And it turned into a little bit of an altercation because, he's like, hey, get your damn hands off me. And he's like, nah, motherfucker, you can't go down here. And then some of the other, I don't know if they were coaches, but other people who worked there who were white, they came over and basically, you couldn't hear them, but you could see obviously they were telling the security guard, oh, who it was. And so then the security guard backed off. So that's basically what happened.
Ew.
Just the fact that it happened though, some people want to see the players, but I doubt a dude in a suit Actually, I can't say I doubt because I've seen
Right.
series where people like to sneak in, and there's some good ways to sneak into events. But like,
Mm.
you just can't assume that someone's going to do something bad until they actually do it. And I know that sounds counterproductive or counterintuitive, but you can't judge a book by its cover just because you're only seeing one thing. But everything that's happening in sports, it's a lot. It's still going on. We are seeing new things every day, and sports is just another topic that we're able to cover that has some form of racism, some form of what's the word, oppression in it. And like me, I may not be a sports guy, but I'm interested. I want to know what's going on in our world so I can be able to talk about it. And I'm glad you guys are here with us. Rest in peace, Lucy. I'm sorry you're not here, but thank you for being on as well. Right now, I feel it's time that we need to calm down and take a little smoke break. But yeah, actually, this smoke break, I want to say rest in peace to Jackie Robinson, aka Chadwick Boseman, because he played a prominent figure in baseball. I'm sorry, let me start that over. I want to say rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. The Black Panther, Jackie Robinson, he did so much for the Black community as an actor, and me as an actor myself. The fact that he's gone is very sad to me. Like, he was an idol to so many young Black people, finally getting to see a man on the screen that looked like them, talking and doing things that we've never seen or done before. So thank you so much, Chadwick Boseman. Have you guys heard about this? You guys at all affected by the Black Panther dying?
Super affected by it. Um, he was definitely he was on the road to becoming a Black icon. He he even played three real life Black icons and a fictional Black icon. He played, like you said, Jackie Robinson in the movie 42. He played James Brown in the biopic. He played Thurgood Marshall. I forgot the name of that movie, but he played Thurgood Marshall. And of course, he played, which he's more famously known for, the Black Panther, which was, even though a fictional Marvel movie, still obviously you already know when it came out. I believe back in 2017, the waves it made in Black culture. It was definitely for the people, and he was definitely for the people. And everything he did outside of his acting work, um, from the speeches he gave to the organizations he worked with, he was definitely focused on Black excellence. And there will never be another one like that. So rest in power, Chadwick. We appreciate you highly for everything you have done for the culture.
Actually, the whole thing with him is he did something I feel like is the bravest thing ever. He was dying of a terminal cancer. I don't know which one. I think
Colon cancer.
cancer. And he, like the real life hero he is, he kept it to himself, and he didn't want it to be a spectacle. He was with his family when he was going. So that's the best thing you can do. Like, in my opinion, if I'm dying or something like that, I wouldn't want people to know so they feel bad. I would want to show how strong I am until I can't. And that's exactly what he did. Um, so rest in peace, Black Panther, Wakanda forever. Have you guys seen or excited about the VMAs tonight? And you heard, I hope they have a memorial for him there, but
Oh yeah, they're so
Oh,
soon too.
so soon.
So soon, yeah. I mean, I grew up watching the VMAs, so I'm really excited. I think it's funny because isn't one of the hosts, or maybe the host, is Travis Mills?
I think so, but
So it's really funny because I know that he like started a new like music project and like just released like 2 songs, and it's hilarious because my roommate is really into him. And last night I he's like cute. He's only like 30 and he's got like gray hair and he's like really grew into his face. You know, like people like they get better looking as they get older. He's one of those.
the glow up.
For sure. So apparently I didn't know this, but he does this thing on Instagram. He'll go on Instagram Live and he's like super into like Pokemon collecting, like collecting cards.
Oh, fine.
So he'll go on Instagram Live and like open up these packs from like years ago that were produced years ago, and he'll open them up. He wears like little gloves. He'll open them up and I'll show them off, and they're all like the hologram was, and he's like, oh my god, I got a Zard, like a Charizard, and he's such a fucking nerd. And it's so cute, and he's just like sweating opening all these like Pokemon packs. And he's talking about how he's gonna like, you know, VMAs and everything, and he did like a pre-shoot or whatever. And it just occurred to me the other night. So I used to work for an MMA like Muay Thai studio that did like private classes and did like MMA coaching and, you know, whatever. And I didn't realize that one of our coaches actually used to train him. And he'd be talking to me about this guy, Travis, who was dating the girl on Riverdale. Travis, they broke up. But Travis, and I was like, I connected him last night. And I was like, oh my God, that's like so funny. I'm now watching him on Instagram Live, and I've been like booking his private sessions like 2 years ago.
And you know, the whole world and everything. Do you guys have any artists that you want to win? And if so, do you know the category they're gonna be in? Like
I got them all up right now, but definitely The Weeknd. I want The Weeknd "Blinding Lights" to win Song of the Year, because that's fucking. I still love that song to this day. To this day.
Okay.
I love that song.
I don't really have any favorites, but
As a gay man, Lady Gaga, Ariana. I hope you girls win, girl, because "Rain on Me." That's the anthem of the summer. Anytime it rains, that's the song every gay is playing. So, Ariana, you better win another one.
Okay, so that's Video of the Year. Excuse me. That's video.
oh yeah, we have some nominations.
So for Rain on Me and Blinding Lights, that's for Video of the Year. For Song of the Year, the nominations are Doja Cat, "Say So," Billie Eilish, "Everything I Wanted." Oh, okay, still Rain on Me is actually still in that. Megan Thee Stallion, "Savage," Post Malone, "Circles," and Roddy Ricch, "The Box."
I changed.
A lot of good ones in there.
Megan Thee Stallion. No offense to Ariana and Lady Gaga, but sister, "Savage." That's a song everybody's been listening to, and if that doesn't win, racism.
The version of Beyonce is the one I would want to win.
TikTok was all over Doja Cat, so I don't know. This might be a tight one.
Is Beyonce even here this year?
Most likely not. She didn't really. Anything she released this year was mostly like collaborations with people. So I don't think Beyonce had anything really released this year, did she?
Well, besides "Black is King," yeah, there's no songs. Beyonce, what are you doing? No, I'm joking. But
Raising for kids. That's what you're doing.
I forgot.
Spending time with her family.
Yeah, we forget everything, but might as well take care of her kids at some point.
So you two seem like you are more well versed in the VMAs. I'm more of an acting person, so I do more of Grammys and Oscars. But tell me, is the best K-pop song, is that a new category, or is
that's new?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I don't know if it
K-pop
was
has been on the rise.
Yeah, K-pop is really, you know what? It's all those K-pop stands on TikTok that are really coming through for us this year. So they were like, you know what? Let's bring them in. Let's have their day in the sun. Yeah.
K-pop, BTS, yes. That's the best pop. Actually, yeah, that's best pop.
That's BTS. Yep, BTS on. That's one of the nominations.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't see BTS not winning the best K-pop song in America's VMAs.
Everyone loves them. Like, and their songs are so, like, they're good. They got that bass. They got everything that you want. And it's like anything that's bilingual. Like, I've heard bilingual things, but Japanese, Chinese, I don't know. I'm racist. I'm sorry.
K-pop, Korean.
K-pop.
Korean.
That whole genre is just getting big, and I'm really into it because it makes me feel. But yeah, let's get back to some sports. You guys hear about what's going on? Like, one big thing that's going on with sports that they've been doing, and I feel like there's a major thing that should be done, is in light of what's happening with elections coming up, they're trying to make, if they can, their arenas into voting arenas.
Yeah.
And you know how major that is? How do you guys feel about the upcoming election? And if they allow these arenas to open, do you think that's going to be better, or do you think that's bad in any way for the upcoming election?
I mean, I can't see it being a bad thing. I mean, creating more polling stations, more voting stations, how could that hurt, you know? If anything, creating more polling stations is just gonna allow people to disperse a little bit more. Um, you know, so and like kind of keep the virus, you know, a little at a minimum, or, you know, people interacting a little bit more at a minimum. That's all I can imagine that it would help, unless you
Yeah,
have any.
basically exactly what Danielle's saying. Because it's a big arena, they can have different stations spread out more instead of like in some school gymnasium where it would have to be a little more clustered with lines. In a stadium, you know, they can use literally 1/4 of the stadium and they'll still have so many, way more polling stations. You know, because you already know 1/4 of a stadium is like three school gymnasiums that they would usually have polling stations at. So it will definitely be better for social distancing. And, you know, if people are still worried, obviously, about coronavirus. Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. You know how scary it is that I keep forgetting about it? I know we're in this pandemic, but it's just like the way that the world is looking at it. It's like some people are really like, fuck Corona. And the other,
Mhm.
what's Corona? And it's like you forget because social media and everything's you.
Exactly. Everybody's starting to kind of like move on. The news is starting like to kind of move on. It's not the top story everywhere anymore.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's about racial injustice, police brutality. But
Mm.
actually, one thing that I saw with the sports, what's going on with sports and Corona is they've been, at least the NBA has been putting out memos and things that in their off season, when the teams are not participating in the playoffs, they'll be social distancing while they're training, like a maximum of 4 players at one time on the court with only one basketball with those 4 people. So that must be difficult. I'd rather have them practice with 4 people and not get corona than a whole team and get corona. No other teams are allowed while someone else is practicing. No more than 4 coaches are allowed in the practice facility. Um, and one towards one basket. And like
All right, ratio of 1 to 1.
they're actually doing stuff to make the players
Safer.
safer, keeping them from getting. But the only thing is, they're not required to get coronavirus testing. So that's like a downside and an upside, I guess, in itself. But you know, throughout this whole year, sports have just been there for us, for the people who don't have anything to do, who like to watch grizzly black and white men go towards balls and stuff. Like, you know, whatever people find interesting about it. But it's been bring a lot of light to a lot of issues, and now more than ever we got to focus on sports because it's another thing in America, at least, that can bring other people together. And from what I've been seeing, it's got me. Now I'm a sports fan. I'll probably watch more baseball, not hockey, because really, why?
Yeah.
But you know, more sports because as an American, I need to show my patriotism in the one I know I can contribute to, sports. Do you guys, with some closing, like, I don't know, closing sayings, do you guys have anything about sports or anything going on that you want to just like talk about briefly?
Um, in terms of sports,
Yeah.
like you said, it is even though we're not huge sports people, I already, you know, get the appeal. It brings people together in camaraderie, even when it's like rival teams and it's like, oh, your team sucks. And it's still a way to engage in conversation, really, and get to talk about things. And like a lot of people depend on it. A lot of people, statistically speaking, a lot of Midwestern people depend on it for not only entertainment, but like it's for them, it's one of their ways of life. Like they don't even play the sports they cheer for, but yet they depend on it so heavily for something to talk about, for some like I'm not like, for me, talking about having people to talk about games and anime with, that's essential for me. Like it's the same way with them. Like, oh, their anime is sports. Like they need people to talk to. It brings them closer to their friends and their families because that's something that a lot of Americans chose as the thing that they want to bring them together. So yeah, let them be what they are. But I just feel like, don't take it too far. Don't let it be your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I also just want to rest on the phrase "their anime is sports." I thought that was beautiful. But yeah, I mean, what would we do without sports? We'd be very bored. And some people, you're right, some people in parts of this country, what else is there to do? What else is there to kind of, get you going at the end of the week? So sometimes that's all people have. I do just want to say, just because we haven't talked about soccer, about how women's soccer is just like so good. And I feel like whenever I talk about soccer, it's like the general agreement is that like men's soccer is theater and women's soccer is like real sports. Like, I don't know if any of you have watched like the Women's World Cup at all ever, but like these women are animals and I love it. I mean, listen, I love watching hockey and watch men beat the shit out of each other on the ice. Love it. But watching like women's soccer is like, it's like art. I mean, they are just the power, the finesse, the primal instinct. And like these women, there was one year in the Women's World Cup, I think it was like an American player and like a Swedish player. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. They like both went for like a headbutt for the ball. They collided heads.
Damn.
One of them was bleeding from her temple and she got up and kept playing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Actually,
meanwhile, you have men on the national men's team in the Men's World Cup or the European Cup or whatever the fuck, their toes get stepped on and they're like, oh, and they're like rolling around on the field. Like,
they do the flop.
The drama.
The flop. That shit's hilarious.
That's hilarious. And they're like, oh, and they like launch themselves onto their backs and they're, oh, my knee. And then they're like covering, have you seen the video where it's like he's covering his face and as he rolls, he like peeks to see if the ref is looking?
Mm-hmm. They have a lot of, like, if you just go on YouTube and just like put in sports pops, the videos you will get are hilarious.
Hilarious. I mean, I love it because it's like, a good laugh, but it's like, you're wasting your whole time pretending and acting, for
literally
like
trying to get a
yellow to get
play.
Yeah, that's not a sport. That's not real sports. And I'm so fed up with being like, oh yeah, men's soccer, the World Cup. It's like, no, that's not sports. That's theater. Watch the Women's World Cup. Pay them more. Like, they are so much more talented.
So much
God. And that's my piece. I'm done. That's all I have to say about sports.
saw recently about women's soccer, which was actually kind of uplifting. A girls' team, a women's league was playing, and one of them had a hijab on, and it accidentally came off. And the other teams surrounded her and covered her up while she was putting it on. And like,
yeah,
women know how to handle situations like this. So thank you, ladies, for being the best of us, playing a game that is actually, I can say soccer is that game that everyone around the world knows. So
yeah,
if women's soccer is a real sport, then I'm all about it. But
it is indeed a real sport.
Well, yeah,
for sure. It's like one of the first sports.
Football. But I want to thank you guys so much for being on today. Dwight, Danielle, it's always great to have you on. I just wanted to shout out ESPN because honestly, I got all my information from there. I couldn't find any like resources for really good like boycotts or things, but it just shows a lot of great things about all sports. It shows them speaking out, like Ryan Clark's powerful message on racial affairs in the U.S., and just different things to get you caught up, informed with your favorite teams, sports, and all that. So, bitch, check it out, or just go to the channel ESPN or ESPN.com. My name is Ramel, or Mel, the First Time Lord on Instagram and TikTok and all that.
I'm Dwight Smith, and you can find me on Instagram at IBFamousWDS, or on TikTok, which I'm more active on, at I'ma Be Famous W with Dwight S. There we go.
And I'm Danielle Amaro at Danielle_Amaro on Instagram and Twitter. On TikTok, however, it's at Demi_Gelato, kind of like Demi Lovato, but Demi Gelato.
I
Yeah.
love it. Well,
I'm funny.
well, thank you for watching Thick and Youthy. Absolutely juicy. You guys stay amazing, and subscribe, join, come on the show with us, and just talk. Like, what else you got to lose? Thank you so much for watching, and hit that like button. All right.
Love you. Bye.
That was dope, y'all. I can't.
What's that?